Chapter 4, Exam Day. Exam Day. 1 week later, day of the exam. The week leading up to the exam was uneventful aside from texting Uraraka almost every day. They started to build up a friendship, in Izuku's case maybe more like a crush. Regardless, they got along and planned to meet up in front of the gate of Ua before the exam. This was it, the day Izuku was waiting for. This day would either begin his journey to become a hero or break it. He was ready no matter what the outcome was. But it was about to start off a bit rough when he spotted Kacchan, who made a beeline straight at Izuku. Izuku knew he wouldn't start anything, but he can feel his menacing ki. "What the hell are you doing here, Deku? Didn't I tell you I would be the only one to apply and get into Ua?" screamed Kacchan. Izuku was scared, but training with Master Roshi and the short amount of time he was talking with Uraraka made him a little more confident. This time he would say something instead of cowering in fear and saying nothing. Listen here, Kacchan, I have every right to be here and take the exam. If you want to settle our differences we can do that, but not today." Izuku surprised himself with what he just said. Kacchan said nothing when he started to walk away, but Izuku felt the killing intent oozing out of him. After a few seconds of collecting himself, he felt a slight tapping on his shoulder. Turning around, he was met by Uraraka's face. "Hey Deku. Are you ready to do this?" she said eagerly. "Hey Uraraka, and yes I am, come on let's go inside," he said, walking side by side towards the auditorium. Walking in, Izuku sensed strong ki all around him. Someone who caught was attention was a boy with half white and half red hair. I should keep an eye on him, he can be a great rival for me in the future, Izuku thought as himself and Uraraka found some empty seats. Suddenly the pro hero present, Mike, walked onto the stage. "Hello future heroes. Who's excited to take the entrance exam? Can I get a hell yeah?" Present Mike said, hoping for a response from the crowd. Complete silence fell around the auditorium. "Wow, tough crowd," Present Mike said, disappointed. "Oh well, let's get down to business. Today you will take 2 tests, one exam consisting of hero questions, and secondly we will test your quirks in a fight between robots. The robots have points ranging from 0 to 4, so the more you destroy the higher your score. But he warned there is a useless robot that is worth 0 points, so don't fight it. With that out of the way, let's get started." After taking the written exam, the students were separated into different areas. If you were in the same middle school you would be separated. This meant Kacchan would not be with Izuku. Lucky for him, Uraraka was in the same testing arena with Izuku. In front of Izuku and Uraraka there were 2 giant metal doors. The sheer size of the doors was more than enough to intimidate. Uraraka looked at Izuku. "I'm really nervous, Deku. What if I don't get enough points?" she said as she began to sweat. Izuku had to calm her down, but how? That's when it hit him, placing his hand on hers and slowly allowed his ki to engulf his hand in a green glow. Uraraka was shocked at first, but then felt a warm sensation on her hand, until her hands were also covered in the green glow. Uraraka blushed slightly when she felt the warm sensation, and truthfully, it began to calm her down. "So warm and comforting. Thanks Deku, I feel a lot better, thanks," said Uraraka, blushing as the other examines were staring at them. Izuku noticed as well and quickly pulled back his hand, turning red as a tomato. "And no problem, come on, relax, we got this." Uraraka nodded. Present Mike was ready to start. "Alright everybody, get ready. Go," he yelled as the doors swung open. But no one moved. "What are you doing? There is no countdowns in real life, go go go," Mike said. Suddenly everyone started running towards the doors. Izuku and Uraraka quickly followed the group, only to see a giant fake city in front of them. Everyone went their separate ways trying to find the robots. Soon they emerged. Izuku couldn't read their power levels since they were not alive, but yet he ran in. Powering up as he went, soon a green glow began to surround him. "Perfect, a 2-pointer," Izuku said, running towards the robot. Focusing his ki to his hand, he created a green ball and threw it towards the robot, destroying it. "Nice, on to the next on." This went on for a while, taking out mostly 2 and 3 pointers either by ki blast or just punching it. Izuku was running out of ki. Damn, I'm tired, I must have used up too much energy. I need to learn when to put more or less power into my attacks when the situation calls for it. I have around 45 points, that should be more than enough. Thought Izuku. In the observation room. 10 shadows were seen inside, with screens showing the different testing arenas. This year's batch have a lot of potential, said one shadow. Yes, but remember we are looking for qualities other than power. Yes, power is important, but you also need speed and intelligence, but most important you need the will to help people in danger. Speaking of which, release the Titan, said a rather small shadow almost like a bear or a mouse. In the back of the room, there was an outline of a tall muscular man. Maybe I will find the perfect person to take on the responsibility of being the next symbol of peace. This person should be a first year, so there will be enough time to train them. Back in the arena. Having exhausted almost all of his ki, Izuku decided to take a breather on one of the nearby roofs. That's when the Titan emerged, standing well over 8 stories tall. With a powerful swing it demolished one of the buildings. Then it slowly began to make its way towards a group of examines. Yeah, I'm going to stay away from that, said Izuku, turning around to leave. But that's when he heard it. Help me, it was coming in the direction of where the robot was heading. Izuku focused. This ki, it's familiar. Wait, is that Uraraka? Damn it, I need to help her. Thought Izuku, jumping down from the building and running towards Uraraka. Once he got close enough, he noticed that her ankle was trapped under a cement pillar. Hey, are you okay? Said Izuku, stopping next to her. Yeah, but my ankle is stuck and I think it's broken. I can't use my quirk either, I'm already at my limit. Hurry, get out of here before you get crushed too. Uraraka said with pain in her voice. No, I'm going to save you because that's what heroes do. Izuku said, picking up the cement pillar from her ankle and tossing it aside. Sit tight, don't worry, I got this, he said, smiling before turning around to face the Titan. Do I got this? I am almost out of ki, and I'm sure I won't be able to punch it hard enough to break it. Wait, there is one thing I can do, thought Izuku. He knew what he had to do. Planting his feet to the ground, he prepared his attack. Green aura suddenly began to form around him, cupping his hand to his side. As the ground around him began to break apart, the floor rumbled. It all or nothing, let's hope I can do it. A green ball of energy formed in his hands, growing bigger and bigger with every passing second. Izuku knew it was time. Izuku looked back at the quickly approaching Titan and with a gleam in his eyes he shouted out, Kamehameha. A green beam of energy fired out of Izuku's hands with so much force it kicked up the small debris around him. This powerful attack went straight at the Titan. As the green beam got closer, the Titan raised its arm trying to block the attack, but it was not quick enough. It pierced the Titan's upper armor and went straight through it, leaving a hole in the Titan. After a few seconds the Titan began to fall apart. Tiny explosions then followed by the whole upper body fell off, crashing into the ground. Everyone on the ground all had their jaws hit the floor. This display of power left them lost for words. Only Uraraka could muster up a single word, incredible. A tall boy with glasses was also lost from words but had plenty to say in his mind. That was amazing, but why didn't he run away like the rest of us? Wait, he went to save that girl, but why? Was there another part of the exam that the rest of us missed? Izuku was breathing hard. He put every last bit of energy he had left into that attack. Yes, I did it, is all he could say before blacking out and hitting the ground hard face first, having exhausted all of his ki. Test Arena 5. Bakugo was blowing up another 3-pointer when the giant green beam of Urguri shot across the sky. What the hell is that? He wondered, amazed by it. It seems I am not the only strong one here. This year is going to be very interesting, he said, going back to blow up some more robots. Observation room. What the heck was that? Said the shadow with a scarf around his neck. The mouse-looking shadow was just as surprised as the others were. Then he spoke. It appears that young man just one-shot the Titan, and while rescuing that girl no less. It looks like his name is Izuku Midoriya. Looks like we have a hero in the making, said the female shadow. The buff shadow just stared at the collapsed kid. Could he be the one I am looking for? He said with a smile. Arena. Uraraka tried to stand but failed. She needed to get to where Izuku was to check on him. With the help of a metal pole she found, she managed to push herself up while using the metal pole as a cane and limped her way to him. What she saw was something she will always remember. Izuku had the biggest smile on his face. Sighing, she couldn't help but smile as well. Oh Izuku, you idiot, thank you, I won't forget this. Just then an alarm was heard indicating the end of the exam. Alright everybody, good work. Now if you are injured please tell me now so I can help you, said an old short-looking woman with a needle-shaped cane. Who's that? Asked one of the students. That is the youthful heroine, known as Recovery Girl. She can heal anyone with a kiss, said a French-looking student. Walking up to Uraraka and Izuku, who was still knocked out, she asked, "Are you alright, dear? Your ankle?" "I'm fine, I think my ankle is broken," said Uraraka looking at her ankle. Without a second thought she kissed Uraraka on the forehead and instantly her ankle was fixed. "There you go sweetie, all better." Now to the other child. Shifting her attention on Izuku, "What is this? He looks completely fine. So why hasn't he woken up? He must have used all his energy in that final attack." "Alright miss, you have an anti-gravity quirk, right? Can you please use it on him and take him to the nurse's office?" Uraraka nodded and did what she was told. Nurse's office. "Izuku Midoriya, wake up fool," said a voice. Izuku didn't recognize this voice. Opening his eyes he noticed he was back in the empty void like when he met Goku. "Who said that?" asked Izuku looking around. Suddenly a man with tall spiky hair in a blue jumpsuit with gloves appeared in front of him. He was wearing some kind of armor. "Look at you exhausting all your energy in such a short amount of time, pathetic, and to think you are a Saiyan. Where is your Saiyan pride?" said the man scolding Izuku. "Pathetic, listen here boy, you are a Saiyan so act like one. That clown Kakarot didn't tell you anything. You are expelling out too much energy when you power up. All that energy could be used to fight for longer periods of time. Learn to control your power output, then learn to use that reserve energy when you need to," the man said, almost screaming at the poor boy. Izuku was dumbfounded. Why didn't he think about that? "Now wake up and next time we met I'll teach you more." With that a white flash of light engulfed Izuku. Izuku opened his eyes to find out he was staring at a ceiling. "Where am I?" "A hospital, a nurse's office," he said softly. As he tried to get up he was quickly stopped by Uraraka, who was waiting for him to wake up. "Hey, slow down, you need to rest." Her calming voice made Izuku fall back onto the bed. "What happened, Uraraka?" "I remember going to help you but that's it," he said, trying to remember what happened. "You don't remember? Well, after you came rushing to help me, you took down the Titan in one shot with a beam of energy. After that you collapsed and we brought you here," she said, trying to copy the Kamehameha. Suddenly the old lady walked in. "She's right son, you should rest now, and you," pointing at Uraraka, "you should head home, it's getting late. Don't worry about him, he will be alright," she said, trying to reassure her. "Go, it'll be fine now Uraraka, I'll text you later, alright?" said Izuku, reassuring her. "Alright, but you better text me," she said, waving as she made her way out. "You got a good girlfriend there son," Recovery Girl teased him. It's not like that. But maybe one day," he said, blushing at what she had said. "Anyway, I couldn't heal you because my quirk requires the body's energy to heal, and seeing that you had no energy it would have been dangerous to heal you. You should be fine now if I heal you. Just be careful from now on, alright?" Recovery scolded him. "Yes ma'am," Izuku replied. Kissing him and once fully energized, Izuku was allowed to leave. On the trip back home he had time to think about what had happened today. "Hopefully I passed, but I won't know until I get the results back. More importantly, who was that other man? He had to be another Saiyan. I have to train harder, I need strength to protect people." Now more determined than ever, Izuku knew what he had to do. Chapter 5. Results. Results. A few days have passed by and still nothing. Izuku was starting to get scared. What if they wrote my address wrong? What if it got lost in the mail? What if I did so bad that they didn't bother writing me? I need to go lay down. Izuku's thoughts were running wild again. Izuku sat at home waiting for the letter to arrive. He had texted Uraraka right after the exam. They had planned to meet up and open their letters together. As he went to his room, his mother suddenly ran inside the house holding what appeared to be a letter. Izuku, it's here. She panicked as he placed the letter in his hand. Izuku stared at the letter too afraid to open it. Well, aren't you going to open it? Asked his mother. Snapping back to reality, oh sorry mom, me and Uraraka decided on meeting up and opening them together. Izuku replied. Oh Izuku, such a ladies' man I see. So who is she? Teased his mother. Well alright then, what are you waiting for? Go, she said, almost pushing him out the door. Izuku called Uraraka to see if she received the letter as well, which she did. The place they decided to meet up was at the same cafe as before. As Izuku arrived, he noticed that Uraraka was already sitting down at a table with 2 cups of coffee. Hey Uraraka, said Izuku, taking a seat across from her. Hey Deku, I ordered for you already, hope you don't mind. Izuku didn't mind, in fact she got exactly what he liked. Before we see if we passed Deku, I want to thank you for what you did during the exam, she said, bowing slightly. Izuku blushed. It's okay Uraraka, just looking out for a friend you know. Anyway, you ready to find out if we passed or not? Asked Izuku. And no, not really, I'm still really nervous. You know what, let's open the letters at the same time, that way we see each other's result if we passed or failed, what do you say? Asked Uraraka nervously. Sure, let's do it. Honestly, I'm really nervous myself, he chuckled nervously. Finally opening the letters simultaneously, they were a little surprised to see that what appeared to be discs fall out. Safe to say they were both really confused. The 2 discs suddenly began to be pulled together, and with a quick motion they were joined together, forming one disc. After a few seconds, a hologram projection appeared on both of the discs. It was All Might. Hello there young heroes, it is me, All Might. I know what you are thinking, what is All Might here? Well, the answer is simple, you are looking at the newest teacher at UA. I will be teaching hero basics this year. Izuku couldn't believe what he was hearing. His favorite hero will be teaching at UA. Uraraka was just as surprised. Looking at Izuku, she couldn't help but laugh, noticing his big goofy smile. Anyway, onto the important Ochako Uraraka, we are happy to say that you have passed the written part of the exam. Now to the practical. Uraraka, you scored 38 villain points, not bad, but not good either. However, there is a second way to score points, we call it rescue points. And you earned 45 rescue points, for a total of 73 points. Congratulations, you pass and welcome to UA. Uraraka screeched in excitement. I did it, Deku. I made it to UA. She was so happy that she didn't notice that she got up and hugged Izuku. The customers outside the coffee shop stopped and stared at the pair, noticing how cute they looked together. That's great Uraraka, I'm so happy for you. But can you please let me go, people are staring at us. He said, blushing red. Noticing what she was doing, she quickly let him go, sorry, got a little carried away. She said, also blushing before going back to sit down. Now let's see how young Midoriya did. For the written part you passed as well. As for the practical part, you young man earned 45 villain points, not bad. But you also earned rescue points, 60 rescue points. Not only did you save Miss Uraraka, but you were the only person who ran at the Titan to try and stop it. Not only that, but it seems you sacrificed all the power you had left in order to defeat it. That is something that this school can't ignore. Bringing your total to 105 points, beating everyone and taking first place in the exam. Congratulations young man, you passed and earned a spot at UA. I expect great things from you young man. That it all, so long. As the projection disappeared, Izuku let out the biggest sigh of relief. I did it. Uraraka, I got in too. He said, trying to fight back the tears of joy. Well, I guess this means I'll get to see you more frequently, huh? She said, smiling. Why yeah, I still can't believe we both made it. Izuku said, blushing slightly. Anyway, I need to get home, it's getting late. I'll see you in school, alright, bye. Uraraka waved as she left. As Izuku was walking home, he started to think about the deal he made with his mother. He had so much he wanted to know, so much to ask. Where did he even begin? But what bothered him the most is what would the answers to his questions would be. What if I don't ask the right questions? What if I don't like the answers to my questions? Finally making it to his front door. Opening the door, he was immediately greeted by his mother. "Oh Izuku dear, welcome back, so don't keep your mother in suspense. Did you make it to Ua?" His mother questioned. I made it, Mom. I made it to Ua," is all he could say before the tears started falling. That's great Izuku. I am so happy for you. I always knew you can do it." She cried but also thought back to the time when he was just a little kid. The doctor had just told him he had a useless quirk. Our baby boy has grown up so much, hasn't he? I bet you would be so proud of him. After a few minutes and lots of tissues later, they finally relaxed and sat on the couch. "So Izuku, as I promised, I know you have questions about your father, so ask away," she said, preparing herself for the questions Izuku might have. This was it, all the questions he ever wanted answers, were about to be answered. "Well, to start off with, who is my father?" he asked, ready for her response. "I think the best thing to do is to show you who he was," she said before getting up and going into her bedroom and returning with a picture. Handing it over to Izuku, he couldn't believe what he was seeing. "This is my dad. Wow. He has the same freckles as I do and the same crazy hair," he smiled at the picture. This tall, freckled with spiky black-haired man was his father. Wait, is that a tail? Noticing something on the corner of the picture. "Yes it is, see your father wasn't from around here and well he was," before she could finish Izuku finished the sentence. "A Saiyan." Inko was shocked to say the least. How did he know? "I'm sure I never told him anything." Then how? Knowing that she had nothing else to hide from him, she sighed. Yes he was. "But Izuku, how did you know?" "I met someone who knew who I was. I know I am half Saiyan." "So tell me, Mom, how did you meet Dad?" he asked, still looking at the picture. "You know how I grew up in the countryside, right? Well, one day I was visiting your grandparents while I had the summer off from university. And one of the days I was there, I saw what looked like a shooting star, but I noticed that it was coming straight down and crashed in a nearby field. So I went to look, and what I found was a strange-looking ship. It was a weird ball-shaped object. I went into the crater it created to get a closer look. To my surprise, I saw a man through the window of the ship." She was interrupted by Izuku. "It was Dad, wasn't it?" he asked. "Yes, it was. When the pod opened, he was badly injured and bleeding all over the place. I decided to take him back to my parents' garage where I can nurse him back to health. His recovery was slow and took months to fully recover, and within those months we fell in love, and well, you came into our lives. Sadly, shortly after you were born, he had to leave us. I'll never forget the day when he told me he was leaving. His face was so filled with worry, he couldn't say where he was going because according to him it would put both of us in danger. However, before leaving me left me a note saying 3 things. 1. Was to make sure to cut your tail. 2. To never let you stare at the full moon. 3. That he loved both of us and that he'd hoped he would come back to us one day," Inko said, hoping that Izuku will understand. "I had a tail. And why can't I stare at the full moon?" Izuku said in shock to the news he had just received. Inko chuckled, seeing her son like this reminded her of him. "Oh Izuku, so much like your father." "Alright Mom, I have one last question. What was my father's name?" Izuku said, looking at his mother. "Eskar. He was a powerful man, always eager to fight, but calm when he needed to be. He also mumbled when he got too excited, kinda how you do." Inko smiled, remembering her husband. "I see, thanks Mom, this really means a lot to me," he said, going to hug his mother. "You're welcome Izuku, if you have any other questions don't hesitate to ask me," she said, holding his closer. After going to bed, Izuku sat on his bed thinking about what he just heard. Wow, this is a lot to take in. Still can't believe Dad was an alien. That makes me half human. Suddenly Izuku stood up, sensing a familiar energy. He's back. Master Roshi is back. I'll have to see him at the beach tomorrow. But something is wrong, it feels like he's gotten weaker. Izuku decided to ask Master Roshi what was wrong tomorrow. Now it was time to rest. Ua Principal's office. Are you sure about this, All Might? Said a small little bear, mouse-looking animal in a suit. Positive, Principal Nezu, All Might said. Nezu thought about it for a good long while. Sighing, he said, very well, it is your choice and I must respect that, but what makes you positive that he will accept? All Might knew that it wasn't a for sure thing, but I have this gut feeling, you know, I can't really explain it. Smiling, he looked straight at All Might. I never questioned your gut feelings and I won't start now. So when do you plan to approach the boy? Asked Nezu. I believe that I still have to see what the boy can do, so I will wait half of the school to make my choice. Said All Might, closing the file that read Izuku Midoriya on the front. Chapter 6. Farewells and New Beginnings. Note: since it's my birthday today, I've decided to post this chapter today, smiley face. Hope you guys enjoy, thanks for reading. Farewells and New Beginnings. Izuku woke up at the crack of dawn the next day to see Master Roshi. As he headed down to the trash-filled beach, he noticed that Master Roshi was there sitting on an old broken fridge. Strange, why isn't he looking at all the women that jog past him? Izuku started to get scared, his ki was weak, very weak. As he approached Master Roshi, he noticed he looked different, older than he usually did. Master Roshi, what's wrong? You seem weaker since the last time we met. Izuku asked, hoping everything was alright. It's almost time for me to go, Izuku. This confused Izuku. Go. Go where? You just got back. He knew what he meant but didn't want to accept it. I'm going to die soon, very soon. But before I do, I have to tell you something. It's about what you can do. Master Roshi said, coughing out a little bit of blood. Hearing that his master was dying, shocked Izuku, his eyes widened, he began to breath heavy as well. He die? No, that can't be right, you were just fine just last week. You can't be dying, we have to get you to a hospital, maybe they can help you. With pain in his eyes, he turned to look at Izuku, who was starting to cry. Listen, Izuku, my time here has come to an end, but I need you to listen to me now. You have great power within you, I've sensed it since I first met you, and one day soon I see that you too will transform. I want you to know, when you do, remember who you are. You are a Saiyan, proud and powerful race, quick to rush into battle. But you are also human, gentle and kind. One day I fear you will have to choose between the two, and I hope you choose correctly. Izuku didn't want to hear this, all he wanted was for his master to get better, he didn't want him to die. Master Roshi, please, hang on, I can get you help. He was now crying uncontrollably. Placing his hand on top of Izuku's head, oh Izuku, my boy, you made these last months here enjoyable. But please don't forget my words, here, take these. Master Roshi said, handing Izuku a small pouch. These are called senzu beans, they are a magical bean that heals all wounds and restores your ki. I only had time to make 3, so don't waste them. However, if you or someone you care about is in mortal danger, don't hesitate to use them. Before you try, no, they won't work on me. Also take these. Master Roshi handed him bag, inside were 6 bright orange balls with stars inside. This are 6 of 7 dragon balls, once all 7 are collected you can summon a dragon to make any wish you want. I hope one day you find all 7. He said, coughing out more blood. Izuku, still holding the items his master just gave him, felt it, Master Roshi's ki was almost out. I won't forget, Master Roshi, I promise you. Falling to his knees, he cried until he saw Master Roshi's body begin to fade away, starting from the bottom up. I see, so this is it, huh? Said Master Roshi, looking down at his now gone feet. And no, please no. There's still so much you have to teach me. I can't do it without you, please don't go. Izuku tried to hold on to Master Roshi but couldn't. His hands kept passing through him. It's okay, Izuku, he smiled. I can finally go to see my friends again after so many years, I couldn't be happier. I couldn't ask for a more peaceful death than to have my last student by my side. It was both an honor and a privilege to meet you, Izuku Midoriya. I'll say hi to Goku for you. Izuku cried as he saw Master Roshi disappear right in front of him. And with that, Master Roshi was gone, no body, no blood, no nothing, a perfect and peaceful death. I couldn't help him. I want to be a hero, to save people, but I just watched you die. Tears still falling, he created two fists and slammed the ground out of anger. Damn it, why can't I help those care about the most? At the time Izuku didn't notice it, but his power began to rise higher and higher, letting out one final yell. His ki exploded outward, raw. As his ki exploded outwards, it obliterated all the trash on the beach, leaving nothing but sand and the sea. He didn't notice at the time, but Izuku's hair flashed golden yellow for a split second. After regaining his composure, he picked himself off the sand and began to walk back home with his head down the whole way. Izuku couldn't sleep that night. All he could think about was how he watched Master Roshi die, unable to do anything. I promise you, Master Roshi, I won't let you down. I'll become the #1 hero and make you proud. The next week went by painfully slow for Izuku. Still feeling the loss of Master Roshi, he trained and trained from sunrise to sunset every day leading up to the first day of class at UA. Izuku and Uraraka agreed to meet up after they see which class they got put into. Izuku dear, are you sure you have everything? Backpack, pencils, pens, notebooks, handkerchief? His mother asked, muttering. I see how people can get annoyed by that. He thought. Yes mom, I'm sure. Now please, I have to go or I'll be late. He said, trying to open the door. Wait Izuku, look, I just want to say how proud of you I am, and I can say your father would be proud too, she said with a smile. I know mom, and I'll try not to disappoint both of you. Bye mom, he said, rushing out the door. The commute to UA wasn't too bad. It was about a 20-minute train ride one way. And with his new train pass provided by the school, he could commute every day. Izuku was standing in front of the school waiting for Uraraka. They both made plans to meet up before they went to class. Finally here, I'll make you proud, Master Roshi. Hey Deku. Aren't you excited? Today is the first day of class. Uraraka said, walking up to Izuku in her school uniform. Wow, she looks cute in a uniform, Izuku thought. Yeah, I'm excited. By the way, what class did you get into? I got into 1A, he said, blushing. Really? Me too. Wow, looks like we will be seeing each other this whole year. But enough of that, we got to get to class, she said. Izuku nodded and they went inside the school to find their class. As they walked along the wide hallways, Izuku began to feel large key sources. It seems like some of the teachers and a few students, he thought, arriving in front of a huge door that read 1A. Wow, that's a big door. Uraraka said, surprised by the sheer size of the door. It must be because of some students' quirks, said Izuku. As they walked inside, Izuku noticed a familiar blonde. It was Kachan and a glasses-wearing student that were arguing over Kachan's behavior. He also noticed other students. A girl with pink skin. Another with earphone jacks. A French guy. Does UA have an exchange program? Wow, he looks like a crow. Izuku didn't notice that he was muttering again. Izuku felt a hand on his shoulder. Deku, you're muttering again, said Uraraka, making him stop muttering. Thanks for stopping me, he said, blushing. Without saying a word, the glasses-wearing student turned and looked at Izuku. Suddenly he started rushing at him. It's you from the entrance exam. I must apologize for my thinking towards you after the exam, he said, bowing quickly. My name is Tenya Iida, please accept my apology. What is he talking about? I'll just roll with it, and no, it's fine really, Izuku said, trying to reassure him. That's when a certain duo hair-colored kid caught his attention. It's him from the exam, it seems he is just as strong as I remember him. Just then the doors to the classroom opened. Stepping into the classroom was a man who looked like he needed to sleep, wrapped inside of a sleeping bag. If you are here just to socialize, then leave now. After a few seconds the class quieted down and went to their seats. 7 seconds to shut up and listen, not bad, but time is precious, especially for us heroes. Now I'll be your homeroom teacher, Mr. Aizawa, but before we do anything, go put on your gym uniforms and meet me on the field in 10 minutes. The whole class looked at each other, not knowing what was going on. 10 minutes later, the whole class was now in front of the field. Alright everyone, right now we are going to be testing your quirks, Mr. Aizawa said, looking like he was about to drop dead. What about the entrance ceremony? Asked Uraraka. We don't have time for stuff like that if you are looking to become pros. Plus it is good to know your own quirks limits. Mr. Aizawa said, taking out a ball and tossing it to Bakugo. Since you got the most valiant points, you got first. What was your distance in the ball toss in middle school? Asked Aizawa. About 75 meters, Bakugo responded. Good, now use your quirk, this I'll give a good reading on what you can do. Step inside the circle, do whatever you need to do, just don't leave the circle. Instructed Aizawa. Stepping into the circle, Bakugo winded up and with an explosion launched the ball. Die. He said as he threw it. Die. Really? Kachan. Izuku could only shake his head. After a few seconds, Mr. Aizawa turned and showed the device that read 754 meters. This way we can accurately calculate your full potential. Oh wow, this looks like it's going to be fun. We get to use out quirks and everything. Said a pink-synced girl. Heck yeah, UA is awesome. Said a red-haired kid. Fun you say. Izuku knew something was wrong from the tone of his voice. Alright then, since it's so fun, the person who places last in the exam will be expelled from the hero course, Aizawa grinning, which scared some of the students. But you can't do that, can you? It's only the first day, plus it's unfair. Uraraka said in a bit of a panic. Life's unfair, if you don't like it then leave now. Aizawa scanned his students and no one moved a muscle. No. Alright then, let's begin, shall we? Aizawa said. Alright, it's time to prove that my time with Master Roshi was not wasted. Izuku thought to himself. Up first was a 50-meter dash, they went in pairs of 2. Unfortunately he was paired with Kachan. As they got ready at the line, Izuku channeled his ki through his body. Boom, the starting gun fired. Izuku sprinted forward before Kachan could even leave the starting line. He finished in 2.2 seconds. Kachan on the other hand finished in 4.8 seconds with the help of his quirk. Wow, he's fast, thought the other students. I probably should have increased my energy more. Half strength was enough, Izuku thought to himself as he made his way back to the group. Is this kid holding back on me? Asked Aizawa, eyeing Izuku. After the basic strength training tests such as push-ups, sit-ups, and side steps, it was finally time for the ball throw again. After a few students have gone, it was down to 2 people, Izuku and Uraraka. Stepping into the circle, Uraraka simply used her quirk on ball and threw it lightly. To the surprise of everyone except Izuku, the ball never came back down. Aizawa should the distance, which marked as infinity. Alright, last but not least, Midoriya, you're next. Izuku nodded and made his way to the circle. Before Izuku could throw the ball, he sensed something or someone glaring at him. But before he could turn around to see who was glaring at him, he heard a loud voice behind him. It was Mr. Aizawa. Listen, Midoriya, if you hold back on the test you will expelled, understand? I want everything you got. This stunned the class. He was holding back this whole time. Just how strong is he? You want my full power, fine then, but don't say I didn't warn you. You might want to step back. Izuku said with a bit of pride. Ha. Damn, Deku always trying to show off. Even though he was a useless quirk. Scoffed Kachan. Useless. Didn't you hear what he did during the entrance exam? He took out a titan by himself. Said Iida. Yeah, you should have seen him. He saved me from being crushed from the titan. Uraraka couldn't help but smile, remembering how cool he looked. Before Kachan could say anything, they were interrupted by a blast of wind hitting him. The whole class witnessed Izuku begin to glow green with energy. As his power grew, it started to create wind, strong wind. Ah. The wind was getting stronger. It was to the point the students had to take cover behind a wall one of the students created. Ah, Izuku was ready. Turning to Aizawa, "This is my full power." Izuku looked like he was on fire, green aura surrounded him. The stare he gave Aizawa was enough to send chills down his spine. His face was serious, dead serious, lacking all emotion, focused purely on the task ahead. "This kid, you really are something else," Aizawa said, smiling. What the hell? Deku, you bastard, were you just pretending to be weak this whole time?" Kacchan said, trying to shield his eyes from the dust. Izuku gripped the ball tightly, making sure that it won't slip out when he threw it. Izuku threw the ball. The sheer force of the ball leaving his hand created a small shockwave that picked up dust. As the ball left his hand, a loud boom was heard. The whole class was stunned. The kid looked really weak. But yet he is strong enough to do that. "How far did he throw that?" asked the pink-skinned girl asked. "He was strong enough to create a sonic boom with just a throw. I'd say about 2,000 meters. Answered the black-haired girl. Everyone waited for Aizawa to show them how far. It took a couple seconds for the ball to reach the floor, but when it did, it shocked Aizawa. 2,300 meters, reasons the device. The whole class just stood there with their jaws dropped. "So how was that, Mr. Aizawa, or should I go again?" asked Izuku. "And no, that won't be necessary. Just go back to the group, I'll show the results in a second," Aizawa said. Izuku nodded and went back with the rest of class. "That was amazing, Deku. I didn't know you were that strong," Uraraka said, running towards Izuku, getting up close. Oh, it was nothing, I just got lucky, I guess." Izuku blushed, seeing how close she was to his face. "Lucky my ass. Deku, you've been hiding your true power, haven't you?" Bakugo thought as rage filled his mind. "Alright, these are the results," Aizawa said, pointing at a board with all the students' name. Izuku had gotten first place, followed by Shoto Todoroki, Momo Yaoyorozu, and Bakugo. "I actually got first place," Izuku thought. Sadly, there was one kid who was not so happy, Minoru Mineta. He had gotten last place. "It shouldn't come as a surprise, but you're not getting expelled. That was just a lie I told so you can go all out," Aizawa said, grinning. "Now hurry up and go change, we got an orientation to get to." After the orientation, the day had ended and Izuku was exhausted. As he was walking out of the school, he was stopped by Iida, who wanted to talk. "Today was an interesting day, right, Midoriya?" Iida said, straightening his glasses. "That power you demonstrated was amazing." It was nothing really, just trying to be a hero," Izuku said, rubbing the back of his neck. "Hey, Deku. Iida, wait up. You guys are heading to the station, right? Mind if I tag along?" Uraraka said, running behind them. Uraraka, sure, let's all go to the station. "But I must say, why do you call Midoriya Deku? Doesn't that mean useless?" Iida asked. "Oh well, the thing is, I hear is it meaning, you can do it, so it has another meaning. Plus I think it's kinda cute," Uraraka said, turning slightly red. "I see. Well, if it's all the same, I'll keep calling Midoriya," said Iida. Izuku nodded. "Wow, first day of school and I already have more friends than I ever did when I was little," Izuku smiled as he walked to the station with his new friends. Chapter 7. We're the opponent. It was now the second day of class, and Izuku was just as excited as the first day. Making his way to class, he suddenly felt an evil presence. Snapping his head up, he quickly looked around but found nothing. The presence disappeared as quickly as it appeared. "I get the feeling something is going to happen soon," Izuku thought as he entered his class. "Hey Deku. What do you think we are going to do today?" "Whatever it is, I can't wait," Uraraka said energetically, which made Izuku smile. "Why does she make me smile?" he thought. "Hey Uraraka, I heard we are going to do some combat training." "And yeah, I can't wait either," Izuku said. Just then the Izuku eyes widened as he felt a huge power level appear out of nowhere. What, or rather, who is that? His power level is unbelievable. Wait, there is only one person that energy can belong to, Izuku thought, trying to regain his composure. "I am coming through the door like a normal person," boomed a loud voice who was wearing a bright red and yellow costume. It was All Might. How is that normal? Thought the whole class. Wow, it's All Might. Asked Mina Ishido, Quark Acid. Isn't that his Silver Age costume ribbit? Asked Suyu Asui, Quark Frog. Wow, Deku, it's really All Might. He actually is teaching here at UA, Uraraka said, turning to Izuku. I know, it's amazing to see him in person. I wonder if he would sign his name in my notebook. He said, smiling. His power level is off the charts. I can see why they call him the #1 hero. Alright everyone, settle down, I need to get class started. Now today we will be testing you on battle situations. You will be broken into teams of 2 and will have heroes and villains. But first, every good hero needs a costume. Suddenly suitcases started appearing from the wall, all numbered. These are your hero costumes you all submitted to the school. Now grab your respected case and meet me, I Ground Alpha. This will be the perfect chance to test myself against strong people, thought Izuku as he made his way to the boys' changing room. Outside Ground Alpha, All Might stood there waiting for his class. This will be a great opportunity to see if he is really worth inheriting my quirk. A couple seconds later, the students started to come out of the locker rooms. Izuku was waking out of the locker room. Izuku was wearing a GI similar to what Goku was wearing in the dream, but made some modifications with the color. Instead of orange, he changed it to green. It was now an emerald green color like his eyes. The blue undershirt was now a solid black shirt. He also had the 2 wristbands which were also emerald green. Basically it's Goku's uniform but green and black. Izuku made his way to where All Might was but couldn't help but notice the girls' uniforms. Wow, her costume is really revealing. Must be because of her quirk. If I remember correctly, her name was Momo Yaoyorozu. Deku. Wow, you look so cool. You really look like a hero, said Uraraka in her hero costume. You Uraraka. You are wearing a spacesuit? Asked Izuku, blushing at the sight of her. Wow, she looks amazing in that. But does it have to be so skin tight? Not that I'm complaining. Why, yeah, it's really nice, but there must have been some kind of mistake with the support department because I didn't want it so skin tight. I probably look super weird, huh? Uraraka blushed. Actually, you look really cute, said Izuku, turning away and exploding red. Damn it, did I really say that out loud? He didn't notice that Uraraka also exploded red. He thinks I look cute. All of you look amazing. Now for the fun part, battle training. As I said before, you will be split into 2 teams of 2, 1 hero team and 1 villain. I have put all your names in this box and I will choose randomly. There will be a bomb that the hero team will have to touch in order to win. However, if the villain team manages to capture or stall the heroes, the villains win. Now let's get started. Teams are the same, no changes from the anime. Izuku was happy that he was on the same team as Uraraka, and Uraraka felt the same. Given 15 minutes to prepare, they decided to talk strategy. Deku, how do you want to do this? Asked Uraraka. We should head straight to the bomb. Iida will probably stay guarding it, while Kacchan will probably go after me, he said. I've been meaning to ask about that. Why does he hate you so much? Uraraka asked. I haven't said this to anyone, but I know I can trust you. It has to do with my quirk. At first I was told my quirk was useless, and eventually Kacchan found out and started picking on me, and so did most of the students in my class. I was picked on, beat up, and ignored by my classmates. But just a year ago my master taught me how to use my power. It turns out I just had to unlock my potential, said Izuku, looked down at his GI. Sorry if I brought up some bad memories, I didn't mean to, Uraraka said, frowning. It's fine, really, I'm over it. But yes, I'm sure he will go after me first. When he does, leave him to me, just head straight to the bomb site. Uraraka nodded as an alarm sounded to indicate the start of the battle. With Iida and Kacchan. Hey Four Eyes, do you think Deku and Round Face can really give me a challenge? Asked Bakugo. Deku. Oh, you must mean Izuku, and well, you saw what he did during the quirk assessment. And her name is not Round Face, it's Uraraka, and she is a smart person, we can't underestimate her, said Iida, adjusting his glasses. Tisk, we will have to see about that. I'm going to find him, guard the bomb while I'm gone, ordered Bakugo. As he left, Iida could only stand there and wonder what kind of history did Izuku and Bakugo have. Questions for another time, I need to focus on the mission ahead, Iida thought as the alarm sounded. Back with Izuku and Uraraka. Izuku and Uraraka both made their way into the building. There were a lot of turns in the building, making it easy for someone to take them by surprise. Damn it, I can't get any accurate read on their ki with All Might here. Kacchan could easily sneak attack you, Izuku thought as they turned a corner. Almost 1Q, Izuku felt a sudden spike of energy. It was Bakugo about to blow them up. He jumped back to pulling Uraraka out of the explosion, but he didn't get out unscratched. Uraraka. Watch out. The explosion managed to catch Izuku in the face, drawing blood from his lips and throwing him to the ground. Deku. Alright, you alright? Uraraka asked, worried about her teammate. He's fine, round face, but I'll be more concerned about what's going to happen. Kacchan's voice grew dark. Izuku wiped the blood off his lip. Uraraka, go and find the bomb, I'll handle Kacchan. But I can't just leave you, she said, not wanting to leave him. I'll be fine now, go, there's a time limit, so go. Uraraka nodded and took off running to look for the bomb. Don't make me laugh, Deku. You handle me please. What makes you think this will be any different from when we were kids? Kacchan said, sparking more explosions from his hands. Because Kacchan, you aren't dealing with the same useless Deku from our childhood. Someone change the meaning of Deku now means you can do it. Ha. Powering up, Izuku could feel his power growing and growing. What the hell? Deku, you bastard, I thought you had a useless quirk all these years. You've been lying to me, to everyone. Kacchan let out more explosions from his hands. Observation room. All the students were staring at the giant monitor, watch the match unfold. As Izuku exploded with green energy, the whole class couldn't help but back away from the screen out of instinct. Wow, incredible, it looks like he is on fire. How manly is that? Said Eijiro Kirishima, quirk hardening. I know, right, it almost looks like a power-up from an anime. Said a pair of gloves. Toru Hagakure quirk, invisibility. Remember kids, the fight has just started, so it can go any way, so both of them need to be careful if they don't want to lose, All Might said, looking at the screen. A certain duo-colored hair kid was in the back of the room staring at the monitor. This could be interesting. Back with Izuku and Kacchan. Kacchan ran towards Izuku. He swung his arm wide, ready to punch Izuku in the face, but to his surprise, Izuku grappled him over his shoulder and threw him on the ground, making Kacchan spit up some blood. You always start with a wide right swing, Kacchan. After all those years of bullying, I can now use those moves against you, Izuku said with a smirk. Fine then, how about this? Kacchan got up, using his explosions to rocket himself towards Izuku. Raising both hands in front of Izuku and blasting him. Caught off guard, Izuku was thrown backwards into the wall, hitting it, causing him to yell out in pain. His costume has gotten damaged, small burn mark began to show. As Izuku got up, all he could think about was how strong Kacchan is. I need to be careful, a couple more blasts like that and I'm done for. Plan B it is then, Izuku thought as he fired ki blasts. I'm not done yet, Deku. I have to show how worthless you really are. What? Kacchan said as 5 small green blasts came rocketing towards him, hitting him and throwing him back into a wall which pinned him against it. Damn it, Deku. Where did you get this kind of power? Before Bakugo could react, Izuku can in punching Kacchan in the stomach, followed by a swift uppercut and finishing with a hard kick to the ribs which made Kacchan spit up blood. Izuku walked towards Kacchan, who was now down on one knee. How the tables have turned, Kacchan, Izuku felt a surge of pride fall over him. This only angered Baguko. Do you honestly think you have me beat? Then how about this? Jumping back, Bakugo tried to get some distance between Izuku. If you know so much about me, then you know what this does, he said, reaching and beginning to remove a pin from his gauntlet. All Might's eyes widened when he knew what Bakugo was doing. Bakugo, stop. You could end up killing him, All Might's voice was heard on the loudspeakers. He won't die if he dodges. Bakugo said, releasing the pins. He can't be serious, damn it, this is going to hurt, Izuku thought as he crossed his arms in AX formation in front of him. Boom. Bakugo's explosion shocked the entire building, causing all the windows in a 30-meter radius to shatter. No. All Might's voice was heard, the exercise is over. Before All Might could finish his sentence, he was interrupted by one of the students. Sir. Look. All Might turned to the monitor. That's impossible. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. Izuku was not only alive but he was still standing. What little sense of relief he felt will soon disappear when he saw the condition Izuku was in. Izuku's breath was heavy. Each breath he took hurt more and more. His face was now dripping with blood, burn marks ran from his arm to his leg. His costume now missing, exposing his chest, which was also bruised and bloody. Oh crap, that hurt like hell. My body feels heavy, my ki is all but gone. Damn it, I'm going to lose, Izuku thought as he looked around. Bakugo, do that again and your team losses. Midoriya, can you continue? All Might said. Why yes, he said, struggling to respond. Deku. Deku. Coming please. What happened? What was that explosion I heard? Uraraka's voice was heard over the communication device in Izuku's ear. You Uraraka. That explosion was from Kachan. And I'm not doing so good right now. He said. Oh no, I'm going back to help you. Where are you? I found the bomb and Iida, but that doesn't matter right now, I'm going to help you, Uraraka said, trying to find out where he was. And no, stay where you are. I got one last thing I want to try. Trust me Uraraka, this going to work. When it does you have to be ready to touch the bomb. OWW, Izuku said, grabbing his side. Oh okay, I don't like it but I'll just have to trust you. Whatever you are going to have to do it fast, Iida might capture me. And please be careful, Uraraka said, worried about her friend. Will do, said Izuku, now turning his attention to Bakugo. Hey Kachan. I'm still standing. Is that the best you got for me? Izuku said, fighting through the pain. Why didn't I bring a senzu bean? It really would have helped right about now. Bakugo was in complete shock. Not only did Deku not dodge the attack, he was still standing. Damn it, Deku. You think you are so much better than me, don't you? Now look at you. Barely able to stand in a bloody mess. Well, screw you. I don't care if I lose, I'm taking you down. Kachan said, rushing Izuku, ready to pull another pin. I never practiced this but it's all or nothing now. Izuku thought, also rushing Kachan. Kaioken! Shouted Izuku. Suddenly red aura began to form around Izuku. Izuku felt his body swell up. His muscles increased in mass. Without a shirt now, everyone in the observation room also noticed. This is ripping my body apart. I don't think I can hold it for more than a minute, Izuku thought, feeling more pain than he already was. Kaio, what? Was the only words Kachan could get out before being met by Izuku's fist, which hit him straight under his chin. Izuku punched Bakugo so hard that it sent him flying towards the ceiling. Izuku was not done yet. Izuku quickly jumped up and punched Kachan again with both fists to the stomach. The impact is so hard that it sent Bakugo crashing into the ceiling, breaking it. Floor after floor, this happened until they reached the floor with Uraraka and Iida. As the floor they were standing on began to break and fly upwards, this caused Iida's focus to shift from Uraraka to Izuku. What is this? Iida yelled, surprised at what was happening. Deku. Uraraka was shocked to see the state Izuku was in. Before she could say anything else, she heard a yell. Uraraka now. Izuku yelled, knowing that Iida was distracted. In the confusion, she had made herself weightless and jumped over the giant hole in the floor. Now safely over the hole. Release, she said as he fell right on top of the bomb, hugging it. Got it. Got it. Was the last thing Izuku heard before passing out from the pain. Bakugo had also passed, but this was due to the rocket punch Izuku delivered to his stomach. Observation room. Hero team wins. Now medic bots, please take young Midoriya now. All Might yelled over the microphone. That was incredible, he withstood that blast, that was so manly. Said Kirishima. Yes, it was quite impressive, but he received too much damage during that fight and barely passed the exam. explained Momo Yaoyorozu. How right you are, Yaoyorozu. He did take too much damage during the fight, making himself a liability to his teammate.
It's not a game, it's a